Some video games don't make it to store shelves.
A video game based on the comic Gotham by Gaslight. Project Hagar was set to be Microsoft's effort to bring Halo to the youth.
One show aims to find out why that is. Don't miss new episodes of Game Graveyard, right here on RatedEm.
Rumors surrounding video games have been around since the early days of the medium. During the days of the early internet, it was easy to just make up information on how to unlock hidden content in a game just for the sole purpose of fooling others. But nowadays, these rumors aren't as present in the gaming space. Sure, rumors about games do exist, but not on the level of what they used to be. What happened to what was at one point such an iconic part of video game culture? In today's episode of The Spot, we're doing a follow-up video to my Cheating in Video Games episode where we'll take a look at rumors in video games. We'll explore their origins, some of the most iconic ones in history, as well as what the rumor landscape looks like today. I usually start videos off like this explaining the origins of the topic at hand, but honestly, I don't know where to start with this one. Rumors have been around longer than video games. People have been making shit up since we learned how to talk. It's not easy for me to just be like, the first video game rumor was definitively this one. Especially with the topic of rumors being so structured upon what happens between people, it's near impossible to pick one as the first ever video game rumor. There very well could have been a guy in the development room for Tennis for Two who was like, yeah, if you hit the ball like 1 million times in a row, I programmed it so it'd flash a naked girl on screen, just to drive his coworkers insane as they try to hit 1 million hits in a row. I guess the era when video game rumors became popular would be during the days of arcades. With arcades being a social space and video games still being so new, I would say this is where rumors were formed the earliest. An early one that I could think of would be Shang Long in Street Fighter 2. In the original Japanese version, Ryu's win quote tells the player that they must survive his Dragon Punch to defeat him. It's just him saying, yeah, my techniques are the bomb, and if you want to defeat me, you gotta withstand my wicked dope uppercut. However, when the game was translated into English for the West, the translators mistook the Dragon Punch as a person named Shang Long. This resulted in Ryu's win quote being, you must defeat Shang Long to stand a chance. This spiraled into people thinking that they must defeat someone named Shang Long in order to quote-unquote win Street Fighter 2, and this was reinforced by an Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine article describing how to find and defeat Shang Long, which they published on April Fool's Day. It was fake. Mortal Kombat is another series of arcade games that had rumors surrounding it. The thing with Mortal Kombat, as I mentioned in the previous episode of The Spot, is that the devs love rumors. The Mortal Kombat devs are literally those images of like how it feels to spread misinformation online. There was mystery revolving around secret characters that actually ended up being in the games, like Noob Saibot and Jade, but there was also mystery revolving around characters that didn't exist. Ermac was the most notable. Within the configuration menu of the first game was a statistic called error macros, which for my research was just a stat tracking how many game-breaking errors happened within the machine. Think of it as like crash logs. That statistic was abbreviated into Ermacs, and also happened to be listed right underneath the tracker for how many challenges the player had completed to unlock Reptile. So people saw the word Ermac listed under Reptile and thought it was another secret character. This was joked about in subsequent Mortal Kombat titles where characters would show up and say things like Ermac does not exist or Ermac who. Eventually, Ermac was an unlockable character in Mortal Kombat 3, sporting a red-colored outfit similar to Scorpion's yellow, Sub-Zero's blue, and Reptile's green. Another Mortal Kombat rumor revolved around a pink ninja named Floyd, a reference to the band Pink Floyd. Eventually, this rumor was made true in the newest Mortal Kombat 1, but put a pin in that, we'll get back to Floyd in a bit. By the time games got out of the arcades and into the hands of the people via consoles and handhelds, rumors were much more common. Games were more accessible, so more people were able to experience these games and, of course, make up more lies about them. It was also around this time that the internet was emerging, and with the anonymous nature of it, it was very easy to hop online and say, well, my uncle works for Nintendo and he says that you can get a gun in Super Mario if you do this and that. Alongside both of these factors, video games were still emerging throughout the years of the NES, all the way up until the days of the GameCube. People believed that anything was possible. We didn't really have a firm understanding of what could and couldn't be done regarding video games. One of the biggest console game rumors was L is Real 2401 from Super Mario 64. On the fountain in the courtyard of the castle in Super Mario 64 is a blurry texture of text etched in stone. It's just meant to be a detail, it wasn't really meant to say anything specific. However, for many years, people believed that the text said L is Real 2401, and speculated on ways to unlock Luigi in Super Mario 64. Some people thought it was the total amount of coins in the game, and collecting them all would result in unlocking Luigi. Some thought it was a challenge to collect every star in the game in under 24 hours and 1 minute, or 2,401 minutes, which is roughly like 40 hours. Alas, neither neither of these were true, and Luigi is nowhere in the final game. However, one funny, semi-related thing to El is Real is that 24 years and 1 month after Super Mario 64 released, the source code and early builds of the game leaked online and revealed Luigi's player model in the files. Very eerie. Also, when the game was remade for the Nintendo DS, Luigi was made a playable character alongside Yoshi and Wario, so eventually he was made playable in-game. Another infamous rumor is in Pokemon Red and Blue. With the Pokemon Mew being so difficult to obtain, players tried to hunt for secret ways to obtain the Pokemon. One of these rumored methods was to use specific attacks to move a truck near the SS Anne in Vermilion City. Moving this truck would supposedly free Mew and provide the player a chance to catch it. Another Pokemon Red and Blue rumor was that Yoshi was an obtainable Pokemon. In the April 1999 issue of Expert Gamer, they provided a guide on how to evolve Dragonite into Yoshi, with their source being one J. Esther. This was an April Fool's bit if you haven't figured it out. It's supposed to be Jester. Put a pin in that one too, the Yoshi being a Pokemon thing. We'll get back to that later. In Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it was rumored that the player could find and kill Bigfoot. San Andreas' open world is considered relatively small and empty by today's standards, but for its time, this was a vast and dense environment for players to explore. People theorized and speculated that within the more country parts of the map, you would be able to find and hunt down Bigfoot. Unfortunately, this was never true and it was just a hoax. In Grand Theft Auto 5, this was referenced and it ends up just being a guy in a Sasquatch costume. A weird one in my opinion is Marty the Thwomp in Mario Kart 64. In the Bowser's Castle track, there's this Thwomp behind bars who appears to be green in contrast to the other blue ones seen in game and just throughout the Mario series. The fact he's behind bars and he's the only one that's specifically green led people to believe that there was a way to free him and unlock him as a playable character. I don't know why people would want to play as a Thwomp, but whatever. This one ended up being completely false. There is no evidence in the files of Mario Kart 64 to suggest an unlockable character, and the Thwomp was only green because of the lighting in his cell. He's not actually green. One series that is a goldmine for rumors is Super Smash Bros. The series about characters from different franchises coming together has been a wellspring for hoaxes with each entry, all of them mainly coming from a place of people wishing for their favorite characters to be in the game. Sonic and Tails were rumored to be in Super Smash Bros. Melee, which was most prominently sparked by an Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine article stating that players would have to defeat 20 enemies in Cruel Melee mode. As with a few others I've already mentioned, this was also an April Fool's Day prank. However, Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic, did state that there were talks to feature the character in Melee, but it ultimately came down to not having enough time to develop the character properly. There was also this radio show rumor where supposedly Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai went on this Japanese radio show and just casually confirmed that Ridley from Metroid and Bowser Jr. from Super Mario Sunshine would be playable characters in Brawl. This one was entirely made up just to post to online message boards and forums. It was disproven mainly because Sakurai wouldn't really do that kind of thing with no hesitation. On the topic of Smash Brawl, it was rumored that there was going to be DLC for the game, which would have been the debut of a new Wii channel called We Want More, which would have acted as a Wii Shop channel solely for DLC. Again, just another fake online hoax. The final one I'll mention is the Rayman rumor for Smash 4. Someone supposedly leaked Rayman's inclusion in the game before its release, but this was actually a very well orchestrated PR stunt by a YouTuber named Artsy Omni for a series where he'd create renders of characters people wanted in Smash Bros. It's really cool, admittingly. Let's move on to some rumors from more modern games. Around the time of the 7th generation of consoles, the internet was becoming more structured, and the more fantastical video game rumors died down. There were still rumors, as we'll explore shortly, but they were not as out there as ones previously mentioned for games from the 90s to early 2000s. John Doe was a Roblox account that had existed during the early days of the game, sporting a very bland-looking avatar and having very little account activity. By some odd chance, many of the game's users discovered the account, were put off by its ominous and mysterious nature, and started rumors that this was someone who was going to hack Roblox's servers and take over the game entirely. Turns out John Doe and the lesser-known Jane Doe are actually just developer test accounts that were created during the early days of the game to make sure that certain functions worked. There was no evil intent behind these accounts, they were just used by developers. Supposedly, Roblox has a long history of hacking rumors, which I'm not going to go into this video because it's not really my thing. Someone who focuses on Roblox content likely has already made a video about this, so go find one of those if you're interested. I personally remember those rumors about how to get the ray gun and COD zombies every time. None of these ever worked, but I remember seeing videos of people trying to convince others it was possible. The ray gun is one of the most coveted weapons to obtain in Call of Duty Zombies, so people would make videos of like how to get the ray gun out of the mystery box every time just to rack up views and fool others. I think I fell for these when I was first playing Zombies, but once I got the hang of it, it was very easy to see that these were all fake. On the topic of Call of Duty, does anyone remember that rumor about the grandma Easter egg in Modern Warfare 2? There was this rumor that if you did some specific actions against this door on the map Underpass, an old woman would walk out and start screaming at you. The original video is very well done. It looks super legit, and this fooled a lot of people back in the day. But unfortunately, it is fake, and this is just edited footage. But I kind of recognized during the writing of this video, why were we all so dead set on discovering an Easter egg of someone's grandmother? Like, why was that our top priority? Like, what? One rumor that got mainstream attention, and I'm talking like outside the gaming space attention, is the Talking Angela spyware rumor. Supposedly, the children's mobile game Talking Angela, which from my knowledge is a spin-off of the iconic Talking Tom mobile game but with a feminine twist, was secretly grabbing footage and pictures of the children who played it using the device's camera. The rabbit hole got so deep that supposedly you could see someone creeping on your kid if you look closely into the character's eyes. This was all just one big hoax, and was largely bought into by uninformed Facebook moms. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is very important to watch out for your kids, especially with things that you don't fully understand, but I think that this one was just fueled by Hollywood movies blowing up how scary technology and hacking can be. A rumor that, I don't even really know if it's a rumor, but it's more of just miscommunication, is the inclusion of a crossbow in the original Assassin's Creed. In the game's reveal trailer, Altair is featured using a crossbow, however, throughout the game, the player never receives one. People thought that there was some secret method to unlock a crossbow, but it was ultimately cut mid-development due to it ruining level design. There was no point in being stealthy and getting up close and personal when you could just put your target in a phase montage from a distance. I originally heard it was because crossbows didn't exist during the time period that the game takes place in, but apparently that's been disproven and they were invented much earlier, so yes, they would have been around for the Crusades. I don't remember where I heard that anecdote, but I believed it for a good amount of time. I do want to take a little bit of time to go on a tangent about video game themed creepypastas, as these are kind of like rumors, or most of the time they're rooted in a rumor itself. I do want to state though, I'm not a creepypasta fan, so I'm sorry if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, because I kind of don't know what I'm talking about. The Lavender Town music is the first that comes to mind. There was this big rumor that the music in Lavender Town and Pokemon Red and Blue would cause children to inflict harm upon themselves or even go as far as to take their own lives due to a high-pitched frequency hidden in the audio. This was rooted in some truth, as there is a frequency known as infrasound that we can't audibly hear, but it's linked to making people feel uneasy or uncomfortable. Don't worry, I'm not going to play it, but just know it's a thing, and it's likely where this rumor stems from. Another thing is that infrasound doesn't make you go crazy and want to hurt yourself or kill others, it just makes you feel uncomfortable. The Lavender Town Syndrome thing is just a hoax though. The song never hurt anybody, and it's just a creepy song for a creepy part of the game. Herobrine is one that got me as a kid. Dude, I used to ask God why he put such a terror onto this earth that he cared oh so much about. Herobrine is supposedly the dead brother of the game's creator who haunts players' worlds and leaves ominous messages and symbols, cross formations in the ground, and signs you didn't put up. And that's kind of it. He didn't really do anything. He was kind of just like a jackass. But I used to think he was in my Xbox 360. I could have sworn as a kid, I saw him around the corner of my base. It was super freaking scary. Herobrine doesn't actually exist and has been revealed to be a made-up hoax by a live streamer. However, Herobrine has been officially acknowledged by Mojang, and he's even featured in various promotional art and has an official skin in the console versions of the game. Sonic EXE is a creepypasta about a haunted Sonic game. Ben Drowned is about a haunted Zelda cartridge. I could also bring up Polybius. Polybius was supposedly an arcade machine that existed during the 80s in select arcades that, when played, caused psychoactive effects in its players. Kids who played it reported symptoms of hallucinations and seizures, but found themselves addicted to the game and would come back to play it time and time again. This is all just one big urban legend. There's no surviving cabinets. The gameplay was adjacent to other arcade games at the time, so memories of it are likely just people mixing up their arcade games. But the legend is rooted in like Cold War, MK Ultra, brainwashing, Call of Duty Black Ops 1 shit. It's pretty cool if you want to delve into it. I could also do an internet mysteries video on this if you guys want me to. I wouldn't mind looking into it because truthfully, I don't know that much about the rumor. Another side note is anti-piracy screens. While some of them are legitimate and they are a little unnerving, a majority of these anti-piracy screens are just hoaxes created by some really talented people online. I won't jump too much into it because I actually have an entire separate video where I do a deep dive into the topic, so if that interests you, be sure to check it out after this one. Okay, my final little tangent before we jump into the state of rumors in today's gaming landscape is something that I've been mentioning over the course of this video, and that is that magazines played a big part in spreading these rumors. This was mostly done because of a few different ways. Either A, someone would legitimately hear a rumor on the school playground and submit it to a magazine, and they would feature it in their publications. B, a rumor is unintentionally created due to something like a mistranslation, or C, like a few of the entries in this video, they are orchestrated April Fool's Day hoaxes. As I mentioned previously, during the 90s and early 2000s, the internet was still emerging, so a lot of information about video games was obtained through magazines like Electronic Gaming Monthly. By the way, another self-promo, go watch my video about video game magazines, it's one of my favorites that I've ever made. On top of people not really knowing much about video games, many of these rumors were just taken at face value. I've seen countless posts online of people trying these rumors out as kids and just ending up wasting their time on a wild goose chase.
Need a new form of entertainment in your life? Join the thousands of others who have hit the subscribe button. Side effects of subscribing may include joy, laughter, and newfound knowledge about video games. Talk to your doctor about if subscribing is right for you.
Don't miss new episodes of So What Happened To, Saturday mornings on RatedEm.
So we've taken a look at video game rumors over the years, but what do they look like today? Unfortunately, video game rumors in this current landscape don't hold a candle to what they used to be. Nowadays, the closest thing to a video game rumor we have is things like this dev team might be working on this game, and not more fantastical ones like previously mentioned that are centered around secrets in games. When these rumors don't turn out true, we usually brush them off as hoaxes, but honestly, with the way that the industry is nowadays, it's likely that these rumors are true, but the games are getting cancelled before they're revealed, and they're swept under the rug by the publisher. I've got a few more theories for the absence of fantastical and whimsical rumors in the gaming landscape today. One of them is that we're at a point now where we've had years of games to take into account, and we kind of know what's possible and not possible with games. At the time, Pokemon Red and Blue were just new Nintendo games on the block, so people presumed that there was a way to unlock a Nintendo character like Yoshi in the game. But now we've had so many Pokemon games after that, we're able to recognize and acknowledge that Pokemon is a series that sticks in its own lane. It is its own separate property that doesn't like doing Easter eggs and collabs. On that note, my other theory is that if something like that were to happen in a game today, it would be a $20 to $40 crossover microtransaction. Like, who are we kidding? I know it's not a rumor, but that Minecraft Easter egg in Borderlands 2 where you can fight creepers and shit, if that came out today, it would be a live service event update with a $20 event pass to unlock this Steve character skin. Like, there's no hidden crossovers for the sake of having a hidden crossover. It's gotta be hyped up and monetized. Another issue regarding modern day gaming rumors is that leaks are more prominent and popular. Next to idiotic bigotry and the pointless graphics arms race, leaks are my least favorite part of the gaming space. It's extremely annoying that nobody wants the element of surprise now and everyone has to know everything immediately all the time. It gets kind of difficult to be excited for something like Black Ops 7 being a Black Ops 2 follow-up when we already knew that a year prior because of a leak. In the same vein as leaks, if there are secrets in games, expect them to get spoiled due to data mining. This also stems from the idea that nobody likes the element of surprise anymore, and it's frustrating. Floyd from Mortal Kombat 1 was added into the game, and within a few days, all the challenges you can do to unlock him were data mined and revealed. Fortnite crossovers are always announced weeks or even months before they happen because of people data mining new updates. It's so fucking stupid. I think leaks and data mining have scared developers off from having secretive reveal events or like hints and teasers of new projects. Again, everyone's in such a state of I want to know everything now all the time, and it's difficult to be excited for things. So all in all, rumors aren't inherently dead, but they're different and they're overshadowed by more immediate information. I've got a third video in mind for this mini-series on like things we remember about video games that are socially and collectively enjoyed, and that'll be about Easter eggs, so if you want to see that video, be sure to subscribe. Aside from that, sorry to end this video off on a bit of a sad note, but yeah, rumors ain't what they used to be.